In today's devlog, I'll go over the process of implementing multiple special moves into my side-scrolling beat-em up. In the last video I put in the basic attack chain which forms a strong base for each character, however special moves are what really make them unique. Special moves will often not just deal damage but also launch your character or have other special properties, so the way we implement them is quite different from move to move. My main character doesn't have many animations yet that are fitting for special moves, so I decided to import Axel just so I can work on implementing the systems first before having to worry about the art. Currently I don't check if we're already attacking before allowing certain actions, so every single move is currently jump cancelable. Eventually I want to have certain moves that can be jump cancelled, but for now I just want to prevent it altogether. I created a function called canMovePrior, which only returns true if we're not already attacking and aren't stunned, so I can simply use a branch to disallow jumping while this is false. We can currently also just spam the special move and it will play the particle effect again and again. At this point it made sense to rename the canMove function to canAct and also check before the special move and regular attack. This will also fix the issue of us being able to cancel from a special attack into a regular attack, however we can now not go from normal attacks into specials either, so we need to set up a system for that. I originally had the impression that these games only allow you to cancel into specials when you actually connect your normal move, just like they do in Street Fighter and traditional fighting games. However, it turns out that at least in Streets of Rage and Fight and Rage, they allow you to cancel into a special attack at any point in time during your normal attack. So that makes the implementation a lot easier for us. We simply need to check that we aren't already using a special move and that we aren't stunned right now. As you can see now, our special move only hits a single time at the end of the animation. However, in Streets of Rage it hits twice and we want to replicate that. So I had to add a socket to one of the early frames to also make it hit. Now that the base system is working, I also want to create special moves for my main character. She comes with a slide animation, so I decided to use that for the offensive special move. Implementing a slide or dash in Unreal Engine is actually not as easy as you might think. I often had to create something similar but just wanted to get it done and never really took the time to research and try out multiple methods. The way most tutorials teach it is actually incorrect and will lead to your character flying off ledges or having to do hacky things to prevent that. We actually had a bug related to this in one of our student projects where at the end of your tackle you would usually lose your momentum, but if you tackle right after an uppercut you would keep your speed. Instead of fixing that, we actually ended up turning it into a feature, though, cause it was too much fun. But this time around I needed to be very controlled, so I took my time to try out a bunch of different methods. Using launch character was inconsistent and would always lead to different slide distances. Using a timeline and forcing movement input worked out to some degree, but I needed to constantly update the max walk speed of my character. What worked out the best was directly setting velocity using a timeline and also applying gravity manually here. That way I would naturally descend when going over ledges. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go into more detail about this and make a full tutorial video. For the neutral special move I wanted to have an uppercut, however the character doesn't have any fitting animations. So I opened up Sprite and looked for a frame that I can use as the base for that, so I don't have to draw everything from scratch. I found a few nice frames of the character being back turned that I thought I can reuse. After drawing the animations, I imported the sprite sheet into Unreal Engine and added the animation to my character. What makes this uppercut special and different from the other attacks I created so far is that it needs to launch our character into the air. To achieve that, I simply used the launch character node with a delay after the button was pressed. At first I was launched into orbit, so it took me a couple of tries to find the right values here. Currently the attack still doesn't hit anything, but before working on that I need to take care of another issue that has been looming. With the current system I can only trigger a hit once per animation and only on one enemy, because I was doing hacky things using the do once node. But in order to be able to hit multiple enemies, hit on later meaty frames, and also allow certain moves to hit multiple times during a single animation, I had to create an array of already hit enemies on my character that I can then reset at certain points. I want the uppercut to be able to hit 3 times, so I created an anim notify state to clear the array of already hit enemies at certain points during the flipbook. We only really need the onNotify begin event from that anim state, so you might think we could also just use an anim notify instead. However, anim notifies are really unreliable and not guaranteed to trigger, while anim notify states are. The attack can now hit up to 3 times, however it will look a lot better once I have hitstop implemented. As a preparation for that, I needed to set up a data asset system with attack data so I can change the damage and hitstop duration depending on the type of attack. After creating the attack data for each move, I made a mapping from the flipbook to the attack data so I can pull the data of the current attack before applying damage. I also made a simple function for applying hitstop to ourselves and the enemy, but I won't go into detail here since I plan on making a separate tutorial video about the topic. Now the character has 2 fully functional special moves and the game is already starting to come along. In the next video I plan on implementing knockback, wall bounces and fun things like that, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see how that goes. See you in the next video.